So that's a special curved wrench, a Kentmore. Let's get back to business here and tell them. But you could use a regular...
For this specific bolt, you can use a regular wrench. This one is specific for getting underneath the injection pump down here,
right,
on both sides. And this is the other one that's better suited for the other side.
Right.
So they have two wrenches to do one job.
Right.
And then this is the special turning tool.
To give you leverage.
To give you, yeah, the leverage. You put it down and there's two notches in the injection pump. And...
see, if I'd make that tool, I'd have the wrenches on the other side of that tool, all in one. But that would be too obvious. So how do you know how much to crank on the injection pump to get the static timing? Is there a mark or a notch?
There's the timing mark right there. And then it's just from there, it's experience knowing whereabouts, with reference to that, is a good spot.
That's just a crude notch in the back of the timing cover, timing chain cover. Whoop!
See, I just moved it a little bit.
That's the static timing of the pump. You're turning the entire pump.
It resists because you got all these fuel lines on the back,
right,
everything.
There's a lot of stuff attached.
So you got to hold it while you tighten that top one back up.
Which is the only easy one to get to. The bottom ones you got to fight to pop the wrench on.
So just a little movement is all you really need to get a decent change.
It's just funny because I've read about this for years. Because I've got the 6.2s now for a few years and now the 6.5s, which use basically the same kind of pump. Just this is an electronic pump. It just sends the same mechanical signal to a mechanical injector. Now they've got electric injectors, or electronic, piezoelectric, common rail, blah, blah, blah.
That is quite the wrench.
Well, that's kind of similar to the idea on the Corvair. It's got an idler that you use to tighten the fan belt, but the nut is under the idler.
Yeah, difficult to get to.
Well, you could use a 9/16 with an extension, blah, 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 but if you have the specific wrench, you just keep it in the Corvair.
Those cars should have came with a specific wrench when they made them.
Yeah.
That would have cost too much.
I just tighten the top one up, and then go recheck the timing, and if it's good, then I'll tighten the bottom ones.
Well, I'll tell you a secret. When I used to work on my gas engines, I'd leave the distributor nut just tight enough.
Oh, that's what I do on mine as well.
That I can move the distributor if I'm getting bad gas or going up hills or hot day.
But this is the wrench I made to replace the $100.
Which is
Kentmore.
Right. Which
so
is
it's just a piece of
rusty steel.
Steel with I put two holes in and threaded them and put two.
Because all you're doing is just.
It's just leverage.
Yeah. You're just cranking on it. That's just what I would do too. The Corvair, the idler thing is right there, but the nut's underneath. So you take a wrench, a 9/16, and you bend it 170 degrees, so it catches from underneath. Then it ends up so short that you weld on a 7/16 to get the little tensioner one here, and takes half an hour, do a whole bunch of them, and just like that. And Kentmore charges $100 friggin'. Go figure. Very good business to be in, making specialty tools that can rip people off. And you have to buy it on eBay with people's initials engraved in it.
So then to check it, you got to have the scanner, but so you got to fire it up.
Okay, glow plugs. And since we've figured out that we have the wrong timing camera ring in my injector pump, a 5068, let's see how fast this thing starts now.
Well, I have the wrong chip in now, so we'll see how it works. It works okay.
Yeah, we're a lot closer to whatever. Let's come around the other side. Oh, man, oh man, oh man. I just changed my rear shock struts, pulled up the hatch. Amazing.
So the scanner shows, this is why we believe the chip is wrong, because it's showing way too high a fuel rate, and we've been messing with the optical sensor over and over to try to get it to come down, because the optical sensor affects this value. But if you have the wrong chip in for the injection pump, it also screws this up and does exactly this. It makes it close to 20 when it should be about 8.
8 millimeters cubed of fuel. So what we're suspecting is it's the correct injection pump case with the newer, 1 year newer cam ring in my injector pump.
Yeah, you have like a 5067, which the newest version is 5521 of the DS4 injection pump, and they probably put the wrong cam ring in it.
Somebody rebuilt it and just thought a ring's a ring's a ring.
So now we'll go to the time setting and do a time set, which will tell me about where I moved it to. It's saying when I'm commanding 0, the lowest it can go is about 5, and that's the base timing, and that's as low as it can go. But oftentimes that's not quite right. It's just a gauge. And when you do this, it'll go lower. This is the actual learn procedure for it to learn. And see, now it's going down to 3 something, and now we get the correct values. A negative 1.8 is fine, 1.94.
You had mentioned that the upper end of that was 2, but it should be a negative, and here we are in the negative value.
You're good from -2 to +2 according to the computer, but from factory it's supposed to be minus 0.25-ish, minus 0.5, and you're fine anywhere from -2 to +2. Now mine, this chip is set to be okay up to -2.5. So I increased the boundaries of the timing that you can do to what GM did in later models. GM made the tolerance 2.5 in OBD2 models, 97, 96 to 2000. So right now it's set fine at -2 and no codes. If you had a code for the timing, you would have a code 88, which is the timing offset is not correct. But since I increased the boundaries to -2.5, -2.02 is still within the boundary. But normally -2.02 would be a bad reading, but I increased it. Now, you might get a little more clatter because we just went from +2 to -2, so you might get a little more engine clatter.
All the time?
All the time, and especially when it's cold. So it's probably best we back it off just a little bit.
Right, because I live in a cold country.
Yeah, because you live in cold. So we'll back it off till we get closer to -1.0. But for now, we'll just turn this off and try again.
You're going to turn off the engine?
Yeah.
All right. Oop.
I shut it up.
That was the long arm of the tech, as opposed to the gentleman here, the long arm of the law.
Yeah, and let's give it a shot with the other chip too, see if we get a different result. So just fire it back up.
Yep.
Now this chip is for the 5067, which was evolved to what is now the 5521, DS4 5521. And let's see what it shows. It should be very